I've been seeing blue. Every time you move, I want it all. Rise and fall. Can I drown in an indigo pool of you? I've been chasing ghosts.
Hi, my name is Aspen, and welcome to the Magic Coast Voyage 3. You might notice that I am a new face, and I'm going to be the new host of the Magic Coast. And this is Jason. Jason, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm very excited to be here today. Very excited to be here with you on our third voyage, but the first with you. We met several months ago. It's been a long journey in itself to get here, but you and I just sat down and we spent, I think a nice hour of just chatting, and I thought you're exactly the person that could be our essential host and guide. We have three really interesting community members here on the Magic Coast. First is a ice dipper. I parked my car right across the street from Front Beach, and for over a year, all year long, yes, in January and February, I'm watching these folks take the plunge. And one morning I just decided to go chat with them. They were wonderful people. They invited me to take a dip, which I did, and which the audience will be able to see. It was quite an experience for me. And Mariella she was a great guide as well. She gave me some tips, and I had a really great time. And like they said, the rest of the day after my dip, I was invigorated and focused. It was just a really beautiful experience.
I love that.
Yeah, you're having a heat wave.
Having a heat wave.
Oh, there's the temperature. There's no wind today.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a mile away. It's a good one.
Wow. It's tough to have a fire in the fireplace today. It's just not going to rise up.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Nice and brisk. I feel good. Excited for this footage. How you doing?
Well, my hand's frozen.
Just a really beautiful experience.
I love that.
Yeah, and then our second guest is a dear friend of mine. Her name is Elisa Vanelli. She is a local artist from Manchester. She's currently in the process of attempting to donate a beautiful bronze mermaid to the city of Manchester. Should any of the audience want to help, she'll put out that invitation as well. I'm really excited for the two of you to meet.
I'm excited. I mean, you said mermaid sculpture
Right?
in the ocean, so I'm in.
Right. Who doesn't love mermaid? Final guest is the executive director of the YMCA.
Love. So, should we dive in? We are here with Mariella Buzzuto from the Cold Water Collective of Rockport, Massachusetts. Mariella, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So I want to talk a little bit about this Cold Water Collective. What can you tell me about how you got into it, when you decided that you wanted to maybe start a group with it, and how people just started sort of gravitating towards you for this sort of cold plunge?
That's awesome. It's funny about the gravitating towards me because I've been called the Pied Piper of Front Beach, which is really funny. Like several people actually told me like my laugh, they could hear it from like down the way. And they're like, they just sound like they're having so much fun. But our Rockport group actually got started with the Gloucester group in 2020. And 2020 was bad for everyone. It came to be 2021 and we started coming out of it. Then we started, Bob started a 7 a.m. group in Rockport because we were going to go to work. Mm-hmm. So it was 7 a.m. and that was when we did it. And we had sunrise. And it's funny because I was a night owl my whole life. I just became a wake up early person during the pandemic. We all kind of changed. I changed, and all of a sudden I'm like, to heck with it. I'm going to go and start this. And then Bob went back to work, and he's sometimes swimming with the Niles group, and now I'm ended up the default person in Front Beach. And so I'm like, this is great, And now we have like a dozen of us, and it's so neat. Like the Cold Water Warriors in Gloucester, and Cape Ann Cold Water Collective, and there's one in Beverly that this guy Brian, who's totally like the strongest one of everybody because he's a former Navy SEAL and he does all kinds of, he goes at night. He's got like a light on his head. He goes at night. He's so awesome. And like, it's just been so great. It's been fun.
That's so wonderful to hear, like, especially during a time like it sort of beginning at a time where community was a little sparse and we weren't able to be together, to have that, to be able to go outside and have this shared experience and love for this thing to be able to do together. So that's really nice. Now, is it 7 a.m. every morning that you're doing this?
I kind of wish I could do that, but we do like every other day. So Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, 7 a.m. on Front Beach. And the Niles group usually goes in the afternoon. Sometimes we do sunrise, sunset. For my birthday, I did that. I swam with the Rockport group in the morning and the Gloucester group in the sunset. And it was just this beautiful rainbow of a day. My birthday is January 12th, so it was definitely cold. Yes, I'm Capricorn. It was awesome. So that was the best birthday.
So the mental health and physical health benefits of something like this. I mean, I know that you guys do it all year round, but there is something to be said about doing it in the dead of winter, when the water is 30 degrees below freezing. Is that something too that drew you to it? Did you feel the physical health benefits or the mental health benefits? You said that you had banged your knee up pretty bad. What did this do for you personally? And what about others in your group? What kind of, if they've shared, you don't have to name names, but just kind of what that has done for the people in your group and you personally?
Yeah, I mean, I was just at first, it was just like, I got to get buoyant, and I got arthritis and I thought, okay, this is great. But then it's like, you go into that cold water and you're made of lightning. I mean, it's just like this amazing feeling, and it kind of knocks all the cobwebs out of your head. Like when you go walk into 30-degree water, and we got down to 30. My lowest was 31. Niles got to 30.30, and I was like, wow, it was slushy in the water because of this winter. I mean, amazing. But you can't think of anything. Like you can't think about your bills, your life, what sucks. Nope, goes all this in your body is like cold, 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 cold. Yeah. And so it just knocks it out. And there's a couple of different things that happen. Like there's all that you can read about, like different health benefits, constricts or makes your veins work better and all these different things. But there's this thing called the diving reflex, the mammalian diving reflex. Mm-hmm. And when you stick your face in freezing cold water for 10 seconds, your body thinks you're going to die, and it gives you all these great chemicals. So you come out there and you're just like, I can do anything. This is amazing. And especially when it's in the 30s. I had a buddy who used to say 50s are chilly, 40s are cold, 30s are transcendent. It was just like, amazing. And I just feel like it's the best thing I've ever done for my mental health, like better than everything else combined.
Yeah. And you're not in wetsuits or anything.
No. We do wear gloves and boots because you can get frostbite. We had a couple, there's people gotten the frostbite or the chilblains, which, you don't want to mess with stuff like that. You don't want to be like, I say we're daredevils, but we're prudent daredevils. So there are some people that don't wear them, but we went to the neoprene gloves and boots just to make sure you're safe. And we try not to do anything that's would make, the DPW and Rockport police have to have the worst day ever. That's what I always tell myself. You don't want to be everybody complaining, where is our tax dollars going?
And also you want to keep your group going.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's pretty fun.
So I know that you grew up in Connecticut, but your family used to summer in Rockport. Were those some of your earliest memories of the ocean, or what's the earliest memory, do you think, of the ocean and diving in and the effect that it had on you?
I know there's a picture of me. I was 4 years old and I'm holding a fish. I have my little fish, we used to go fishing at Granite Pier. Mm-hmm. And I remember sticking my head under the dock. It was the 80s. They didn't care what kids did. So I'm sticking my head under there, and it was low tide. Mm-hmm. And you could see the whole depths illuminated under there. And it was like, I could see the fish. I could see the seaweed. I could see the rocks. And it was like, the world is deeper and wider than I ever thought possible.
Yeah.
And I'm just this little kid going whoa.
Isn't that amazing? Even as kids, there is some sort of conceptualization of the world around us and the beauty of the world around us. Yeah. And I feel like the ocean especially really brings that out even as children. It's like we're drawn to it or something.
Yeah, I mean, we play in the waves like kids. You'll see guys in their 70s and they have a face like a 10-year-old kid in the waves. Yeah, it's amazing. And of course, the ocean is different every day. You know, we get the lavender sea on the sunrise morning. It's the greatest thing ever.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm here with Elisa Vanelli, a sculptor based out of Manchester by the Sea. And today we are going to be speaking about her latest project, Atlantis the Tide Keeper. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
I am very grateful about the possibility of creating this sculpture for Manchester. I love the community that we have created around it because everyone has really stepped in, from the harbor master to the selectmen to the people showing us their joy about the project. And it feels really special because I think that this project is more than just a sculpture or a series of sculpture, because we're not just talking about Atlantis for Manchester, but the idea is to create one tide responsive sculpture for each town of Cape Ann, starting with Manchester. So Atlantis will be the first one. The idea is that these pieces are guardians, their presence. I always get emotional when I think about Atlantis being at the location on the breakwater wall during storms, at sunset and sunrise. The relationship that she will create with the people that every day are there in every season to have their lunch break, to just look at the ocean. It just makes me feel like it's going to bring so much magic to a place that is already very magical. Because the way I see this region is there is a lot of magic here. There is a lot of mythology. Thinking about Gloucester and the sea serpent, on many sightings, you know, this beautiful, wonderful serpent, you know, and to the point that they had to create a species, because there were so many people seeing it that, you know, you start to think, is this really mythology or is this real? Isn't it magical, you know, to think about it?
Oh, I'm right there with you.
So
I mean,
I think that life is so much better with a little magic in it. So this is what I would love to bring back with the Tide Keepers. This community around that gathers around the nature, around the ocean, that starts to pay attention to the ocean, to the tide, to the moon, because when there is a full moon or a new moon, the tide is completely different. So that we're starting to pay attention to the elements, and when we pay attention to the elements, we start to reconnect.
So for folks that maybe don't know, can you explain the Tide Keeper or these sculptures and how they interact with the tide, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
Like the materials that are used, what it's made out of, and kind of how it evolves over time.
So originally I create them with clay, and then they get transformed into bronze, because bronze is like the best material for the ocean. It's always used in marine equipment. And it naturally develops a beautiful verdigris patina like the fishermen. So originally it's just bronze, and then the ocean does its own work, you know, and creates this beautiful patina. For example, for the Manchester mermaid, the location is the breakwater wall of Masconomo. And so then she has a granite base, and she is anchored with bronze rods into this granite base. And then she will be placed on this wall. And the interaction with the tide consists in basically just the tide coming in and covering her partially. I'm thinking up to her shoulder. And then the tide coming out and unveiling the sculpture.
Yeah.
So people will have to pay attention to the tide to see the whole piece.
And that's really beautiful too. I mean, imagine, I'm thinking, right, someone that maybe doesn't know she's there walking by and the tides are high and they have to squint and look and think, what, who is that? Is that, you know, kind of do one of these and rub their eyes and like think about it. And for like a brief, that glimpse, you know, that brief moment, they they know what they're looking at, and that is a magical mermaid. How do you choose kind of where to put them?
Atlantis came through a dream, and I remember I usually have very significant dreams in the early morning. So my last dream. And I remember that with Atlantis, I had the vision. I would have never thought about it, to be honest with you. But like I was sleeping and I had the vision of this mermaid covered with high tide and uncovered with low tide. And I could not believe it. I just I woke up right away and my heart was racing. And I went on my phone. I'm like, is this even possible, And then there's been like an incredible sequence of synchronicities leading to where I am now.
One question that we ask everybody is, what is your earliest memory of the ocean, if you can recall, or maybe the strongest memory?
Oh, the strongest?
If you can't remember the earliest, we'll do strongest.
The earliest, I used to go, I have so many beautiful memories. I used to go every summer. So I was born in Italy, but every summer I would go for a month in Greece. And I was like a little mermaid. So we would take like our friends own a hotel on the beach, and they had like a boat. So we would go out and I would like dive down to get like this shells. And then we would like separate in groups, and each one of us would get like something to put in the spaghetti that we were making for lunch.
Yeah.
So I would like find a little piece of net and go get crabs and then dive down and get, and it was so beautiful. And then the gathering in Italian, so I end up talking about food,
Yeah.
So then we would just gather together around what we created, with what the ocean gave us. And growing up, I was always like saying, I want to live by the sea. And guess what? I moved to the US, which is on the ocean, and I moved to Manchester by the sea.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the universe does listen, and just having the ocean around me, all the time is the most beautiful and powerful thing, because it's so healing, and I have a very deep relationship with water. And so in my work, I use a lot of structured water. We really have like a serious background of how water is actually not just something that now we call H2O. Water was always the waters. So water was the waters in the Bible and sacred writing, was the waters above and the waters below. It became, when we are pregnant, the waters broke. It's not water singular, it's plural. And then with the invention of the gutters from the Roman, it became water, because the sacred aspect of water was removed. So then it became water. And so now the studies that they have done really reconnect us with this aspect of sacredness of the waters. So I love studying all this. And I think that with the Tide Keepers, something that I would like to bring to the community is this knowledge about like water and how sacred it is and how important it is for us to understand and recreate this bond with it.
I'm so excited for other people to experience you and your work and this as well. If there is anything that you have, like, where can people find you? Do you have a page for your art, like social media, anything like that?
I do. So my social media is Elisa Vanelli Art, and it's that's Instagram, and Vanelli Art is on Facebook. My website is vanelliart.com, and the Tide Keepers website is tdkeepers.org. So I created this nonprofit. It's called the Tide Keepers Foundation. And our mission is to bring this beautiful project to Cape Ann. And
that people can donate to.
Yes, please help us, because we need everyone help. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, everyone. I am here with Erina McWilliam-Lopez, the Executive Director of the YMCA of Cape Ann in Gloucester. Hi, how are you doing today? I'm great. What can we expect in the upcoming season?
We are always busy at the Y. We are always busy planning, doing, and delivering. So this is we're in spring. Spring season just started for our programs, but we are planning and developing everything that's going to be happening in the summer. And something I'm particularly excited about, and this is probably going to bring nostalgia for a lot of people who grew up on Cape Ann, is that we are going to be offering swim lessons at some of the local family beaches this summer, complimentary. One of our big goals at the Cape Ann Y this year has been to ensure that at least 25% of kids under the age of 10 here locally has access to safety around water. So that's a big part of our swim curriculum, right? We're surrounded by water on Cape Ann.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that being a big feature that we're bringing back, and we'll be offering swim lessons at Niles Beach and Plum Cove. And if you're local here, you know those are both very local beaches.
If someone was looking at joining the Y, and as we all do for the year, and we look ahead at our finances and things, what does the Y offer in terms of accessibility and affordability?
Affordability is always on our minds for those of us that plan out what the Y is for the community and look at our budgeting process. Affordability has been an increasingly just an increasing focus for us, right? So this year, we actually leveled up the cap for being eligible for financial aid. So for families earning up to $140,000 a year, they're eligible for what we call flex payment. The Y has always been committed to access, right? So all levels of income. We don't want financial barriers to be the reason that you're not developing a healthier lifestyle.
Anything new and exciting?
Well, when I think of spring, I always think of birds, right? So bird's eye view a little bit. Bird's eye view is that the Cape Ann Y is one of 7 local Ys in the Y of the North Shore. So it's important to remember that we have Beverly, and Beverly has cold plunge tanks, has a new sauna, has new locker rooms. Cape Ann just unveiled our e-gym equipment, and our e-gym is actually our e-gym fleet, which is adaptive tech-powered weight training. We're really just in the second phase of rolling it out. So we are adding a new feature of flexibility. And so the flexibility and strength testing combined is going to give our members a better assessment of their bio age. So bio age is actually something you can adjust. And if you keep working out, your bio age actually gets younger. So my son just told me that classic joke yesterday, what goes up and never comes down, your actual age, right? But your bio age, you have control over that. So there's some really fun new journeys that members can go on. The other thing that's really important about the Y is the social connections that it builds for people. And so recreation is one way to do that. And so we have walking clubs, and we have Mahjong, which is this growing in popularity. So we have this growing group of folks who play Mahjong together. A lot of people are finding their friends at the Y. It's a great place to find new friends if you're new to the community, or if you've lived here for ages and you want to expand your social network. It's such an important place for that. So that's why we focus not just on the movement piece, but also the social connection piece as well.
Another thing that I wanted to kind of go back to and touch on for a moment is the e-gym. So let's say that no one knows what it is, and they're a little nervous to try it. They don't understand what's going on. They have wristbands. What's going on? You're talking about bio age. Like, explain it like I'm an alien and I have, and you're convincing me.
Well, e-gym is your friend.
Yeah.
And the first thing to know about e-gym is it's adaptive. It guides you. It responds to what your strength is, what your body is. So actually, I have my e-gym bracelet right here.
There
and there's a little data tag right in here. So when you start out, you go to our
bio-age measurement machine. It will measure your flexibility, and then you'll do a strength test. So the system itself, the operating system, is uniquely tied to your data as you go through it. And it's going to allow you to choose from all different types of training journeys across a series of sessions, and it will build up your strength. It will respond to where you're at. There's a recommended cadence. You don't want to show up every day. It's similar to any sort of strength training. You want to balance it out with different types of modalities. But it takes about 20 minutes to do one round. And the really cool thing about it is we get a lot of complaints, oh, that person is scrolling on their phone in between sets on, whatever equipment they're using. eGym, everyone moves at the same time. So it keeps it really organized, really streamlined. 20 minutes session. You can do 2 sessions, one after the other, and then go on your way. So it's really customized, but also people are using it together. And it invites people in particular that have perhaps felt like maybe they don't belong or they don't know how to use the traditional strength training equipment. That's been something that was our theory, and we've been able to verify that those assumptions are real, because I see a lot of people who typically just swim laps or typically just do yoga or go in the group exercise studio, or just new people that suddenly feel like they're more invited into that space because it guides them. Yeah. So eGym is your friend. Yeah. What is your earliest memory of the ocean? Or maybe strongest memory if you can't remember the earliest? Strongest memory, part of it is taking swim lessons at the beach when it was absolutely freezing. I think I turned purple. So I remember that. And it forced me to really want to move around in the water. But the water, I've always felt such a strong connection to the water. I've been lucky enough, I've lived in a lot of different places, and I've been lucky enough to live by the water. And I spent the most amount of my years here on Cape Ann. I recently came back after being away, building my career, and have the good fortune of leading this Y. And so the sound of the water, the energy of the water feels very foundational, right? Because I think I've just 100% had the privilege of living near it for most of my life. I propose a little bit of an argument to that idea that an island community is insular, right? An island community is surrounded by water, but I think that what I see too is a distinct form of openness, right? We have a history of all these different generations of communities coming in and adding to the culture here, and building up this really dynamic culture that we have of a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different histories. So I think that's what makes Cape Ann in particular magical, creative, and really connected, even though there's a lot of different types of people here. Yeah, 100%. The other thing I would add is just this transformational thing that happens, right? It's a transformational small win that happens when you wake up every day and you say, I'm a person that moves. I'm a person that's gonna move, regardless of what it is, right? Maybe it's going on a walk. Maybe it's going to an exercise class. Maybe it's going to eGym. Maybe it's just walking in the front door and asking what we have to offer. Starting with I'm a person that moves changes your life. Yeah, that's really beautiful. I got chills. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It was so nice meeting you. So nice meeting you too.
I want it all.